The ability to be bored is really like a modern day superpower. It seems that many of us in today's digital world have forfeited this ability and we trade it in for constant stimulation, constant distraction. So we check our phones for no apparent reason throughout the day, or we might spend hours scrolling through social media looking for the next viral clip or update in celebrity gossip, not understanding the consequences that come with it. Ultimately, I think we all know just how important boredom is in achieving our goals, achieving greatness. The simple notion of sitting down in silence and focusing on a work task, or the ability to stick with things through drudgery and tedium, regardless of if you feel motivated or not. And I understand, I'm human too. I was in a similar boat just a few months ago. I could barely work for 25 minutes on a work task, but now I can comfortably do 90-minute deep work sessions. So what changed? Well, there were three key things that I did, three exercises that I put into play and steps that I took to turn the tide and make a drastic change in my ability to focus, concentrate, and stick with things even when I feel bored. So if you're tired of constantly feeling distracted, feeling as though you have more to give but you're just not stepping up to the plate, or you're tired of the pull that your devices have on you, well, stick around because I'm going to show you exactly what I did to get comfortable with being bored. The first thing that I did to get comfortable with being bored is unplug from the anesthesia of distraction. If we all just take a moment and look up, we'll realize just how distracted our lives are. Every day, 8 or 9 of the top 10 trending Google searches are about a sport or a celebrity. So what does this tell us? Well, it tells us that the average person is majoring in minor things. We're so focused, so concerned on the outside world and people who don't even know that we exist. Wouldn't even care if we died. But yet and still, we're giving them all of this attention and all of this focus. We're basically playing a supporting role in our own life. We're not even the main character in our own movie. And so what happens? The anesthesia of distraction sets in. We start to fall asleep to our own goals and dreams, the things that would actually improve our life or the life of our loved ones. We're asleep to those things, but we're awake to the concerns and the activities of the outside world. And not only that, when we're constantly consuming these hyper-stimulating distractions, it kills our motivation on a physiological level. And now all of a sudden we say we have no motivation, or the tasks that we know we have to do to achieve our goals no longer seem appealing. And as a result, the time that it takes to achieve our goals, if we ever even achieve them at all, continues to increase. The process of becoming more of who we've been called to be gets put off further and further into the future. So here's what I did, and this is the first exercise I'm sharing with you. All you're going to do is pull out a simple pen and paper or the notes section in your phone, and you're going to put intention on one side. On the other side, you're going to write distraction. And all you're going to do is an honest audit of your intention to distraction ratio. On a typical week, what are the things that you're doing with the specific intention of improving your life or the life of your loved ones? And on the other side, what are the things that you're consistently focusing on that are ultimately just a distraction? My hope for you is that the intention side far outnumbers the distraction side. But if it doesn't, I want you to take a look at that list of distractions. Immediately take one off the list. As you take one distraction off the list, add one intention to the list. Continue to work through this process until you've significantly expanded the intention side and minimized the distraction side. And I promise you that you will be all the better for it. The second thing that you must do to get comfortable with being bored is divorce yourself from shiny object syndrome. I'm certain that we've all been there before, where we created a brand new morning routine or a new exercise program, new training program, or a new diet, and we swear up and down that we're going to stick with it. But what happens? A few days, weeks, and months pass, and inconsistency starts to seep in. We no longer feel motivated or excited. That once new activity is no longer new and it loses its luster. And so we default on that commitment to ourselves and start the cycle over again. We start the new search and we go on the hunt for the next exciting thing. And again, if we're being real with ourselves, we can acknowledge that most of the plans that we make would probably actually work if we just stuck with it long enough to reap the fruits. Most diets, for example, work. But I believe the real question we have to ask ourselves is, am I the kind of person who will stick with something even when it gets difficult, tedious, or repetitive? Will I stick with it even when I'm no longer excited about it or motivated by it? If your answer to that question is no, then even the perfect plan won't work for you, because you're not going to stay committed long enough to realize the results. According to an article published by Harvard Health, most people who start a diet go on to regain most of the weight they lost after 1 year, regardless of the diet. So it didn't matter if it was low carb or low fat or Atkins or Weight Watchers, none of that mattered. So if it isn't the diet, what is it? Well, it might be the simple fact that we've developed an identity of being an uncommitted person. It's been our character, or should I say lack thereof, that causes us to jump from one thing to the next. And so we're always on the hunt for the next supplement or next productivity hack. No, we just need to pick a game plan and stick to it. So that's my challenge to you. Decide what is most important in your life right now. What's the greatest priority? Come up with a concrete plan of action and commit to it for at least the next 100 days. Let go of that habit of jumping from one thing to the next, because all that really is procrastination. So start your 100-day journey today. The third and final thing that I did to get comfortable with being bored is enlist in a boredom boot camp. With this third and final point of the video, we're focused on how to get comfortable with being bored from a physiological standpoint. So there are 3 key things that I did and continue to do that have been game changers for me. Now, I can't guarantee anything to you. If I did, I'd be lying, because I probably don't know you or the effort that you're going to put into the 3 things that I'm going to share with you. But I can say with a high level of confidence that if you give these 3 things an honest effort, you truly implement them, that they will improve your quality of life. They will improve your ability to focus, to be comfortable with boredom, and in turn increase your productivity, but also they can help reduce some of your stress and anxiety. So let's jump in with the first thing, which is practicing digital minimalism. Go into your accessibility settings on your phone and then go to color filters, and you're going to switch your phone to grayscale, black and white. Now, this might seem like a very simple, inconsequential step, but what you'll notice is after a couple minutes, especially a couple hours, you're going to start to feel a little uncomfortable, and you can't quite pinpoint why. Well, the simple reason is that we're getting a certain amount of stimulation from the bright colors on our phone without us even realizing it, because it's just the default. So that's step 1. And step 2, if you're not making money on social media, delete your social media apps. Congratulations, your phone just got a whole lot less interesting. And if you want to take it a step further, which is what I did, is I went out and got a flip phone. I got a dumb phone, costs about $10 a month. And so that way, most days I can keep my iPhone off and out of sight, but I still have my flip phone in case of emergency. My family can call me. The second thing that I did was go out and get a small notepad. So since we've set aside our devices, we need something to write down our to-do list, to capture any notes or journal entries, and the notepad does a great job of that. And not only that, another great benefit of the notepad is it really helps in honing in and getting into a great flow state. So when you have a simple list of tasks that you can write down in a sequence and check them off one by one, it really helps you lock in and focus for your deep work sessions. And the third thing that I started doing with intention is monotasking. We often talk about multitasking, but in reality, there's no such thing. We can jump back and forth between 2 things quickly, but we can't give our full focus to 2 things at the same time. And so in steps monotasking, we have to get comfortable with being bored. And so this can take a variety of forms. It could be walking, it could be traditional meditation, it could be reading, it could even be cooking. The whole point of it is to be fully invested in whatever task that you're doing. Set aside the music in the background, or the TV's got to be playing. Set all of that aside and get comfortable with the silence. If that silence bothers you, well, that's a good sign, a good indication that this is an area that you need to work on. And so the more and more that I leaned into and continue to lean into monotasking, the more comfortable I get with it and actually start to really enjoy it and appreciate it as a part of my day. So my final challenge to you in this video is to put these 3 action steps into play for the next 7 days. Get started on them and report back in the comments in a week how it went for you. I am very confident that you will be all the better for it. I hope you enjoyed this video and got plenty of value from it. If you did, please hit the like button. I'd greatly appreciate it. And I would highly encourage you, don't delay, but get started right away with these exercises and challenges that I shared with you today. Let's set aside the distractions, because you know that you and your family deserve better. So get started on this journey, get comfortable with being bored, and get on the pathway to greatness. I'll see you in the next video. Take care.